guys, how are you doing? Tonight we're going to be making milk and chocolate chip Burfi. It's my first time doing this, so fingers crossed. First off, I want to show you my ingredients. We have roughly a cup of chocolate chips because I'm a glutton and love chocolate chips. We have 3/4 cups of sugar because why not? And we have 2 cups of milk powder because it says so. And then, because I'm trying to be healthy with all this good stuff, in case you couldn't tell, we have 1/2 cup of skim milk. So, first, we have a pan, because this pan is what we're going to have our Burfi in. So, first step, very clearly states, is that we need to put some of this nice, glorious stuff that is clarified butter in the pan. So, we're going to do this first, get it nice and buttery, because God created butter, and we love butter. There we go. So put that all in there. We're going to set this off to the side because we're only doing this so the Burfi is easier to get out of the pan later on and because it's going to taste glorious. Okay, perfect. So now we're done with that. Next, after we've covered our pan in butter, I'm going to turn this on to a low heat. So we're going to keep it right about there. Then we're going to add the rest of our clarified butter into it, just like so. There we go. So the butter is nicely in the wok now. The wok's on a low temperature so it doesn't start to burn. Then we're going to wait a second. We're going to make sure. The most important thing throughout this whole process is to keep stirring, because otherwise your paste for your Burfi, or what will be your Burfi, is going to become too thick and not nice. So we don't want that. So after that, we're going to add in our milk. Now the important thing I have to illustrate is that when you add in the milk, you have to immediately add in the milk powder. Because if you don't do this, you mess up the whole thing, or at least the video said so. So here's the milk, here's the milk powder. Such. So we're going to add in a nice bit of milk. And then we're going to add in our milk powder, just like that. So that's all good. Got some left over in there. Get it out. Come on. There we go. Nicely out. Perfect. Okay. Now, we got to stir this all up. Stir this all up. Important thing. And if my camera woman would like to come over here, I can illustrate us stirring this into this paste. It's important. Make sure you get all this stuff off the sides. And so Burfi is a very common treat for the festival of Diwali, which is practiced by Hindus in India and around the world. And it's basically a mixture between like New Year's and Christmas, essentially, with a little bit of Halloween thrown in there just because of the pageantry and all costumes and good stuff. But it's a very colorful, very festive holiday. And I personally like it, even though I just found out about it maybe 2 weeks ago. So thank you, Professor, or Dr. Cooper, I should say. So we have to keep stirring this. We're going to keep stirring this for roughly, let's say, another minute or so. And then, kind of right around, maybe a little bit longer. But what we're eventually going to do is we're going to add in our sugar, which is going to give us that nice sweetness. So I want to keep that on a low, don't want to get too thick. Nice low temperature. There we go. It's a good workout. Now you get your workout right in before you eat this very sweet, very gut-busting treat. So now what I'm going to do is, while still stirring, I'm going to add in our very, very health-conscious dose of sugar. Because sugar. Make sure we get it all in there. There we go. All in there. All in there. Just finished cooking our Burfi paste until it's a lot thicker than it was in the beginning. Now I will say, this is my first time cooking this. We may have run into one little bit of a problem, and that is when we substituted the whole milk for skim milk, we didn't really consider the fact that skim milk is a lot more watery than whole milk, and therefore probably may have messed up the cooking process just a little bit. I don't think this is quite as thick as it should be, but it looks pretty thick to me, and it tastes pretty good. So we're going to add the Burfi in, like so. like so. We're gonna try and get it spread evenly. We're gonna add in some delicious goodness in a second, which was gonna be our chocolate chips. So make sure I get all this goodness, because why the hell not? You know, I think it did start to burn a little bit just because, you know, the dimensions may have been off a little bit, but I can say personally this tastes really good, and I'm a finicky, picky eater. So trust me guys, we're gonna enjoy this. Make sure this all comes off. All of it. It's taking a lot longer than I would expect. There we go. I'm gonna save this over here for the second because I'm going to lick that clean. Probably shouldn't do. But now we're going to just gently make sure everything kind of falls neatly in the pan. Kind of pushing it to the sides. Make sure it's right in here. There we go. Push it out. My girlfriend's telling me I need to speak louder. I'm kind of just mumbling to myself at this point. That's kind of how I cook. I don't really cook. I just make cereal and steak and eggs. Well, kind of got that going. I'm about to do my best Salt Bae impersonation. Y'all ready for this? Okay, that was a failure. I'm just gonna lightly drizzle. My Salt Bae impersonation didn't go too well, but my sister is actually allergic to nuts. That's why we're not using pistachios and almonds, which I believe the recipe should call for. But you know what? This is kind of the Westerner's take on it. It's pretty much like a chocolate chip vanilla brownie, if you would. So we're almost done. Almost to the good stuff. Make sure we get an even spread on that. And we gotta push this good stuff in. Make sure it's all, oh look at that. Oh, God, that looks good. Oh, I'm supposed to be on my diet on Monday. Here we go, guys. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this sit, and then after it sits and it rests and starts to congeal, time to enjoy. Okay guys, so we've let this cool for I think going on 45 minutes now. This is our Burfi. It's pretty much done. Last step, and this is a step we've all been waiting for because we wouldn't have made it unless we wanted this. We're going to prepare it and eat it. So we're going to just cut it. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it. Probably cut it into sections like this. It's a little tough. Ideally it should be, you know, pretty solid but also kind of malleable. You know, it should be able to cut with relative ease. It's almost like a fudge consistency. So we're going to cut another, there we go. Just like that. And we're going to do it once more. In here. Right there. And we're going to do, again, kind of right in here. Again, like this, we're going to cut. Boom, one more time. We're going to cut. Boom. Here we go. So now, it's time to enjoy. It's still actually a little soft, but I tell you what, you know what? Because I'm going to put this back in for the rest of my family to enjoy when it gets a little harder, I'm going to sample it now. Just so you know, it's really good. So here goes. Burfi. Or at least what I call Burfi. It's very sweet. It's relatively easy to make. So I'd recommend if you wanted a quick and easy and low maintenance dessert to cook and prepare, definitely go with Burfi. It's very good though. I really like it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me in Kyle's Kitchen Corner. Alliteration. That's it. So thank you very much.